Have you seen this woman? Commit her face to memory and never forget. Her family won't.
She was a mix of a tomboy but feminine, you know.
Almost 26 years have passed since Angela Chan went missing.
But she was tough, you know, she was tough.
From missing to murdered.
There's no mystery about it.
The who clearly defined in his sister's mind, but the how, where, and why, a much different story.
I just want to know where she's at, so we could put her to rest. It's like there's never any closure.
The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office has handled this case since the 19-year-old disappeared on March 27th of 1989.
We don't have a body.
A daughter, a sister to 3, a wife.
So you're lacking the physical evidence in order to help try to solve the crime. You're left with just what people tell you.
Through public records and accounts from detectives and family members, here's what we can tell you. Angela and her husband Bruce were separated. She was engaged to another man. Angela was living here at her parents' house in Redmond. Bruce was a Marine stationed at Camp Pendleton in Southern California.
I've known Bruce since I was in the 2nd grade.
Wendy says Bruce made the drive to Oregon Easter weekend.
My mom, Nancy, says to Angela, when he gets here, you're going to put your foot down with him and tell him you are through and you are done.
Angela's mother told detectives she saw the estranged couple pull away from the house on Sunday morning. Bruce later said the couple went trap shooting. 2 days later, her family and fiance started looking for her.
They started driving. He drove from Sisters towards Redmond, which would be the route she would have taken.
Her mother drove from Redmond along Highway 126. Near Pine Falls, she spotted Angela's car, left abandoned with its passenger window smashed out. A full tank of gas with her coat and purse inside.
That's where the trails start, and that's where it stopped.
No one has seen or heard from Angela since.
We have several people that we have investigated as persons of interest.
Detective Tim Leake worked on the case back in 2005 for about 2 years. He would not say whether Bruce was ever a suspect in the case, only that he'd been interviewed several times.
What's going on?
Wendy says she knows who Angela's killer is, and so do detectives.
We may share the same sentiments as the family, but then it comes down to being able to prove it and make it stand up.
Former Deschutes County District Attorney Mike Dugan entered office a few years after Angela disappeared.
They have a suspect, but they just don't have enough evidence to go forward with an indictment or a prosecution.
Several witnesses claim they saw Angela's car and a woman matching her description around the Klein Falls Bridge after Bruce says he headed back to California.
We want to make sure that we have the strongest case possible to present.
Former Deschutes County Sheriff's Detective Myrna Homan worked on the case for about 4 years. She says it's always been black and white.
Let me just ask you, if it was your family, your sister, your daughter, wouldn't you rather take that chance?
A sister who struggles to understand.
I can't not knowing that her killer is living their life, never answering to this.
Wendy has been working with detectives since she moved back to Oregon about 20 years ago.
It just didn't seem to fit into anyone's agenda. That's what I feel like.
The Sheriff's Office says it's doing everything it can.
We're still trying. We haven't given up on it.
With each passing year, a painful reminder of what remains.
It's like there was never a healing process. That's the worst part.
No memorial or gravestone to mark Angela's passing.
My family just doesn't talk about it.
Just these photos to capture what once was. Remember this face.
She was really getting it together. Just kind of, becoming an adult and settling down.
A full life ahead of 19-year-old Angela Chan.
You could see that transition.
Wendy will never forget her sister.
Hurt on top of hurt that just never goes away.
She hopes you don't either.
That was Grace Joyal reporting. After more than a quarter century, the Sheriff's Office says it's treating this as a missing person case. However, Oregon law states that the person not heard from in 7 years is dead. If you have any information about this case, please contact the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office at 541-693-6911. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this.